All right. Hello, everyone. Uh, this is the obligatory. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Yes, yes, we can hear.
Okay. Good morning again. I am Ron, a level 2 judge from Manila, and welcome to my presentation. To get this out of the way, first, I had a couple of nights with allergies, so I apologize in advance if I pronounce words nasally. If you don't understand something, please type it in chat during or after the presentation. So this is also the time that say we can't hear you, your audio is bad, and other stuff. So for today's content, I will be talking about a regular occurrence during the halcyon days of tabletop magic, backing up or backups. My goal this morning would be to teach everyone here a little bit about this procedure. I am no means an expert on this subject. However, I'll try my best to interpret a few things I have read and share my insights from doing backups during the time that, well, we all can judge tabletop events. Again, good morning to all. Hope you had your breakfast and coffee. And let me introduce you to the process of backing up. All right, so let's get down to it. We have a scenario flashed on the screen. So I will read out the scenario. In a live event, Nino May controls Leyline of Sanctity and Amelia casts Thoughtscar targeting her. So Thoughtscar resolves. Both players immediately recognize the error and call a judge. So with this, we have set the stage. We have players that need our help, Amelia and Nino. We have cards, the white Leyline and Thoughtscar. We have an error committed, and we have judges. In fact, a lot of them are tuned in right now. Okay, before I proceed, uh, is there anyone who thinks the scenario involves a third fix, meaning that we can solve it uh, through another way, because we will solve it through backing up or not backing up. If you have thoughts, you can PM first, private message me through Zoom, and maybe we can discuss that after the presentation. So maybe I'll wait. I'll just wait for 10 seconds. Okay. So I think most of you agree that sorry, there I don't have Jeopardy music in the background. Okay, so I think everyone or most of you agree that we can settle this through our topic today, which would be backing up. Okay, so as is the title of my presentation, which is Rewind, uh, let's go back a few steps before we try to help Amelia and her friend. So first, who can do backups? Uh, First would be the head judge of the event. So if this is a store event, this can be in the past, right now, or maybe in the uh, near future. This is most likely you, just like what we're trying to do right now. For larger events in the past or we hope in the near future, the head judge may delegate this decision to team leaders or team leads or any L3 or level 3 judge working in the event. Full backups cannot be undone. It can't be undone that easily. So after it is administered. So it is wise to get your team lead or another L3's opinion if you are sure about backing up in a scenario. Next, what is a backup? So for this slide, let's just define what a backup is. It has a this will be a little wordy, so we'll try to break it in chunks. Yes, thank you, QJ. Yes, L3s also consult other L3s. Just to digress a bit, consulting will be one of is an integral part of doing the backups. You consult players, you consult other judges, you consult spectators maybe. So back to our presentation. What is a backup? So first, this is the first statement. We restore the game to a previous state. So we are in the present and we're going back to the past. Okay. So the previous state may be one turn ago, one phase ago, or maybe uh, just the maybe one action ago. Maybe a spell cast on the main phase, and we're now in the post combat main phase. After playing through a corrupted or damaged one. Okay, so uh, these players, uh, there was an error, so and they played through the error. So this is what we consider a damage, or for me, I really don't like this word corrupted, but since it was born, this sequence of plays were born from an error, so we'll just label it as corrupted ones. After the mistake has been noticed. Okay, so this I think this predicates that the mistake was noticed. Both players, one player or both players saw it, and they consulted a judge after. So let's say if so, it was called upon. So if the mistake wasn't noticed, so I think we can back up if we do not know when or where to back up. Okay, so this is the full definition of the backup. So restart the game state, restart the game to a previous state after playing through a corrupted or damaged one after the mistake has been noticed. So we back up from the present point to the point of error. Yeah, basically that's it. It's a more wordy version of that. Next would be uh, a quick work on how to back up. So the first step is to find the point of error. Okay, so this also comes into play with the definition, because if we notice that there is an error, we know or we can infer where is the point of error. So because the point of error is where we will end up after doing all the backups. So hopefully we can fix it and then erase this point of error. Next, we determine the game actions from the point of error to the current game state. Okay, so at this moment, you evaluate how far the players are from the point of error. So how far does it mean real time elapsed? Uh, Consider actions done by the game or decisions made by the players from the point of error until now to the current game state. So at this point, you should also think about is at this point you should also be thinking about, is a backup feasible at this point. Next, after, well, I guess in step 2, we find that we can do the backup safely. We rewind the actions in a correct order. So make sure players understand each step. So go through all the actions to just cover all the bases. Ask players questions, just to confirm their actions, even if it's kind of obvious. It helps to confirm players that this is what they do. This permanent was tapped, etc. If a step feels awkward to back up, so I guess during number two, you had a good sense that yes, I can back this up. But in this step, if a step feels awkward to back up through, consider not proceeding at all and just say, "I'm sorry, guys. Let's go back. Let's go. Let's go to the current game state again, and we will not fix this. So there will be no backup. You can do that. So just because we're rewinding the actions. Since we're not yet in the point of error, the final step, uh, we can still uh, effectively cancel the backup. So if you eventually go to the endpoint of the backup or not, consult other judges about the situation. Uh, and finally, yes, not a trivial, not always a trivial matter. You issue penalties and time extensions after fixing the game state. Next slide. Okay, all together now. So we go back to the to our original scenario, and we will try to apply the 3 steps above. So okay, guys, at this point, I need participation from all of you. So try to not flood the group chat. Private message me the answer this. Please message your answer. What is the point of error? So I guess I'll pause for 20 seconds to see if anyone messages me. Again, I'm asking since we learned what is the point of error in the scenario flashed 3 screens above. Okay, so answers are now coming in. I think I'll give some time for maybe other judges to chime in. Yes, so okay, so most of you, I think, got the point of error right. The error here was Amelia targeting someone with targeting her opponent that has hex proof. So the targeting part of Totscar is the point of error here. A hexproof Ninome was targeted by her opponent's spell. Okay, second. So what did the players do after the error? So this is the part where we determine the steps, uh, determine the game actions that. So for our example, only said resolves. And there were no responses from either player. So we're very near the point of error. So if nothing happens between the casting and the resolving of and we're on the resolution of that said spell, we're very near the point of error. So I think we can hypothesize some scenarios from our example. Resolves is a bit of a broad word. So I have some scenarios here. Okay, so if so at this point, Amelia drew 1 card. So regardless, whatever happened. So letter A has Totscar fully resolving. Maybe they got the error as Dino build 1 card and then they said, hey, you can target me with that. I remembered my ley line. Or maybe Amelia just drew a card and then Dino called the judge, uh, letting, uh, which means that the thought scar kind of resolved because Dino uh, had no responses. So how do we rewind towards the point of error? Okay, so regardless of whether A, B, or C has happened, we shall go through, uh, we'll try to go through all the steps. Okay, so if we choose C, if we have C, then we just ignore one. But let's say A happened. We will put the two cards are not, there are two cards in Nino's graveyard, and that should be in her uh, library. Okay, first, since we're going through the step, we're going through the actions in the correct order, we should undo the card draw first because that's the second part of Thought Scar's resolution. So when backing up a card draw, you place a random card from the player's hand on top of the library. Okay, so when you place that card, it's you stop. It's on top, and we go to the next step. Cards that end. Okay, so now we should undo the mill part. So cards that were in the graveyard should now be in at the top of Nino's library. Now this is awkward. Both players download the top two cards of someone's library. But for this fix, it's not a problem since the cards came from a public zone and are not cards previously drawn. So these cards, when they end up in a library, they are shuffled. Okay, so what does this do? We The top two cards of Nino's library were random, so we just randomize it again. Okay. However, you should always ask and consult the players uh, if about those cards. Were they legally revealed before the error, before the scenario? Did Dino had scry did Dino scry down several cards? If there are legal cards in the legally known cards in the library, we should not include them in the shuffling fix. Finally, the error was choosing the target for Thought Scar. So, casting a spell has a lot of steps. So, you announce it, target, distribute, pay mana, etc. It's another topic. But the magic rules club all of them as one action. So, we back up until Thought Scar is in Amelia's hand. So, keep in mind that we untap all lands used to cast the spell. So, even if targeting is the only error in this casting scenario, since magic rules club them all as one action, we back up through it all. Okay, so uh, all of these are found in section 1.4 of the Magic Infraction Procedure Guide, or the IPG, which is it's titled Backing Up. So, okay, that was easy, right? Uh, do you have any questions, suggestions, or reactions from this from our first from the during the first part of the presentation? I think I'll give you some time. I talk a lot, so I'll give you some time to process. Maybe I'll give you maybe 15 seconds. You, you can engage, I think, through PM if you have questions about the topics that the slides that we have discussed. Shouldn't the opponent choose a card to back up the card draw? Okay, so Ralph has this question. So first, this is that's a fix if the error was about drawing more cards than necessary. But the error, the actual error is the casting of the spell. Uh, we don't apply this fix that choose a card from the player's hand. This is reserved for hidden card errors. For this scenario, it's not a hidden card error. Uh, Amelia did not draw two cards, but the actual error was the spell shouldn't have been cast in the first place. Yeah, same with Chris. I think I just explained why we are not doing the hidden card error fix. I am assuming the controller allowed. Yeah. Yes, word. It's an error. I think both players saw the error after the fact. Okay, I just take a drink of water for maybe 5 seconds and then we can move on to the presentation. Will it be different if the leyline player did not allow Thought's card to resolve? Uh, so Armelia just drew a card. Uh, huh. I think. Yeah, I think that changes things because yeah, I get it. I think okay, so if Amelia just drew a card, let's say she did not wait for the leyline player uh to say okay or anything. I think we will have another. We won't. There will be another fix for it. So I think that's we can say that since the error is not badly is not resolving a card that shouldn't have been on the stack or shouldn't have been resolved. But this is where we apply the HE fix, I think, because this is an extra card in a set, i.e. Amelia's hand. Uh, is does that answer the question word? Yeah. Yeah, for now, I will say that. Okay, I think Chris, let's move on to the presentation first. And I think you can find that answer. Okay, so let's go to the next part. So at this part, so I think we've done it. Let's recalibrate. So for me, so now we know who can back up, uh, what is a backup, and how to do it. So those three, it's like I'm giving fish. I gave you all fish. So this is how you do it. Just read it from here. So Another part of topics would be knowing the why. So it's like learning how, this is the part where we learn how to fish. So, and for me, uh, learning the whys makes sense of the what's, the hows, and the X's. I mean, etc. So, okay. So now, I'll try to dive into backing up philosophy. Okay. Our first notion of backups or backing up were on our casual games of Magic. So, those kitchen table games where you show the extra, when you show the extra card drawn and you just stick it in the middle of the library. So there are a lot of these on the fly fixes that you may have done on kitchen table games or casual games. And we did it because we know that it's the fair thing to do. Uh, take backs or friendly take backs or house rules uh, feels fair. In our judging affairs, we also have this urge to be fair to both players in a match. I think that's why we're labeled judges. Most rulings and most other, I think most or if not all rulings are crafted with fairness in mind to both players. However, in competitive situations, the mindset of a good backup is to know if what we're doing is correct to do so. Uh, so take this into perspective of a correct ruling. It feels great for one player and may be bad for the other. Nonetheless, the ruling is correct. It will hold in all situations. So I think suspend whatever wherever Magic is played. So from one game to another, in all matches across the globe, or from early game to the late game. Uh, if something is correct, it will hold water. If our ruling is consistent throughout, no camp can tell us that we're biased. So, in effect, we are giving players the fairness that they expect from us. Due to backups being largely to undo, the rules for backing up are specific and precise, almost sounding like jargon. So, like the definition I had way back. But this is a small thing that we can live with. Thus, what comes from the correctness and consistency philosophy is this. You back up or you do not. So, uh, you leave things alone unless backing up is the worst situation. So, leave things alone. You do not back up. Let them play. Uh, or uh, we we must we must get to the correct situation, which uh, is this is the time that we back up. Okay, so in effect, a full backup. So what we did or what have we have been discussing for the past minutes means a full backup is a solution of last resort. Full means doing the rewind. Uh, so if there's a full backup, are there any other things that I can do before, since it is a solution of last resort? Yes, the IPG has, I list them down here. So lists a simple backup and partial fixes before you consider full backups. So a brief definition. So a simple backup. Okay, so it is undoing one action, the current one or the most recent one. So please note that it cannot have any random elements in its fix. Okay, so I think most of these will fall under the illegally cast spell. So you just put it back on hand. But if you're putting a card at random from someone's hand to the top of their library, it's not a simple backup. anymore. Second, for a specific set of circumstances, we have we have partial fixes outlined in the game rule violation section or 2.5 of the IPG. So I have listed them here, but I won't go through them because this is not the focus of our presentation. So, okay. So a brief summary of the kinds of backups and the infractions where the backups apply. So the aforementioned HCE mentions a simple backup in its fix. So I think this is just, let's say, he drew 4 cards instead of 3. So we put it, we a simple backup of the draw 3 spell going to hand, and then we do the HE fix first, and then we place that spell, that the draw 3 spell that drew 4 cards back to hand. That's a simple fix. A CPV wants a full backup. So if a game decision was made based on an error in communication. And a GRV, which I think our most of our situations will fall into, applies all kinds of backup. So consider simple one first. If the partial fix is applicable, apply it. And then if those two do not work, then we consider a full backup. Yay! So back to backups, back to full ones. So I think these are what I think the core philosophy of backups are. So number one is a reiteration of what we have said earlier, that backing up is a solution of last resort, and when leaving things as is would be more detrimental. So, determine if playing to the error results in the corruption of the game. Number two is about decision points. As I said earlier, real time is not a good gauge of backing up. Instead, use a player's actions to measure how far back you are. A draw-go situation in consecutive turns is easier to back up than one combat phase with tricks and full grips. Also note that players have made their decisions based on the error. We should consider that players acted genuinely after the error, so their actions should have some form of insurance. On the flip side, we can leave things as is because both players allow the situation to persist and let them accept that they did this to themselves. Finally, we consider revealed information and done information. Instants lose their potency and bluffs become useless when players redo a situation. Cards drawn and in hand have stricter rules because it changes the set of information that a player has. So, one big red flag when considering a backup or not would be if you were going to change a card that a player will see eventually. Right? Cards drawn and in hand have stricter rules because it changes the set of information that a player has. It's like we, the judge, determine a new plan if a card is replaced due to an erroneous backup. All of these questions and procedures have the same goal. We go back to the restore point and have an almost identical chain of events after, even if there was information gained due to the mistake. We have restored the game state in an organic way. So, if the answer to your question after this, what are players going to do after you let them resume the game, is very close to what you saw, then it is a good backup. Okay, one last time. We go back to this one situation. And we try to apply those three core philosophies about this. Okay? So first, should we back up at all? Is it a worse situation if we walk away? Uh, for me, I think yes. Uh, Leyline player has two cards in the graveyard to possibly use as a resource, where at first she did have, or she's one card down if forced in an empty library situation, where she should be three ahead. Uh, Amelia also knows one card too many, so not a card advantage point, but an information point. Time between the point of error and now. So, Totscar is resolving or has resolved right now. So, nothing else was cast or activated. So, uh, we're almost at the point of error. Revealed information. Again, I think not much. Totscar is the only card here that will be replayed if we choose to back up. So we ask the question then, what would Amelia do after? So I think this is conjecture from me. If I'm going through this situation, Amelia knows the top card of her deck. Let's say we have gone through the backup. So we did the steps outlined 7 slides back. So Amelia knows the top card of her deck and has Thought's card. If she likes that card, she will just wait for her next draw step, and we have a situation where Thought's card is known to both players. Most likely, Amelia will cast this to draw a card at a later time. So, Leyline player will eventually see this card. If she doesn't like the card, most likely she'll recast Thought's card, dealing 2 and drawing a card. Card advantage-wise, it's the same situation before we back up. However, from this, did we just sculpt Amelia's hand? Maybe, but her decision to build a specific card means that it wasn't part of her strategic choices before the rewind. Okay? It wasn't part of her choice. We didn't give her a new option or disrupt her plan because she wasn't considering that card in the first place. What if she needed that card to go to the graveyard? She built the leyline player before the rewind. If her purpose or game plan at all was to build cards into the graveyard, we won't be in this situation. So I guess this is highly unlikely. So in the end, Thought's card will most likely be cast again, and Amelia will draw a card from it, just like before the rewind. So really close to what just happened. To what just happened. Weighing these ideas in our heads before proceeding to give a backup will make our backups better. So that's the end part of my presentation. And I just have uh, I have three situations and for audience participation. Okay. Before I proceed, do you have any questions? I think I'll wait 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Okay, no one is saying that I lost audio. So I'll just continue. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay, word. Don't worry about just an opinion I want to share. Same way again. Uh, yeah, I outlined it. Yeah, I outlined it as I was talking. Yeah, so okay, so If she was okay. So what? So I put it here. So we just sculpt Amelia's hand? I guess maybe. That's my answer. But her decision to build a specific card means that it wasn't part of her strategic choices before the rewind. Uh, During backups, we don't want us judges being the one to give choices to players or new information to players. Uh, I think that card wasn't part of her. It can be a strategic advantage because she dumped that useless card. However, since it was it's part of her choice, but since her initial thought was it's okay, I have this card in hand, I just build her. Uh, I think we didn't give her a new option, or we didn't disrupt. Uh, I think we did not disrupt her thought process of having that card in hand. Yeah, I think we just wait. We can uh, question ourselves, but eventually we need to get to a solution. So weighing these ideas will guide you to and consulting other people will guide you to good backup. Okay, I have around 20 minutes, so I think we can do these sample scenarios in 10 to 15. So let's move, and then if Word wants to what do you call this, discuss this more, I'll be happy to. Uh, if that would be worse than her sabi, yeah, okay. Yeah. So, yay, we kind of agree. Okay, sample scenarios. So, okay, so I'll read the situation. So, in a modern event via spell table, uh, Anderson controls Tatyova, Benthic Druid. So, the relevant ability is when a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. And Dryad of the Elysian Grove. So it just says that lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. Okay, so Anderson activates Misty Rainforest and they fetch Godless Shrine and shuffles their library. Anderson draws a card for Tatyova's trigger. Shortly after, they notices the mistake and sends you the screenshot. Okay, so uh, I have noted the decision points or the relevant actions of both of the player. So first is activate the fetch rag, Mr. Rainforest, uh, fetches Godless Right, shuffles, then draws a card from Tatyova's trigger. All right. So first, uh, I want everyone to choose from the poll where do they think is the point of error. So it's 1 to 8. Please ignore 4 to 8. It's only 1 to 3. I think I'll give you maybe 15 seconds. Okay. Oh no, it's time. Kind of time. Okay, there's a timer here. Good. So answers are coming in. Ah, so first option is active player activates Mystery Forest. Wait, I'll. Okay, does this work, QJ? Yeah, it's 1, 2, and 3. So first, one is activate rainforest. Two is fetch godless. Third is draw a card from the trigger. Okay, I'll end the poll right now since most of you got it correct. Yes, it's number 2. So the point of error was Anderson not did not get no. Anderson fetch for a non-forest, non-island land. Okay, that was the point of error. Okay, so next, okay, keep in mind the point of error and what happened after. Uh, okay. Huh. My next question is, uh, can we leave things as is? Can we leave things as is? So yes or no? Okay, I think I will have the poll up 30 more seconds. Huh, okay. So let's share. Okay, so 60% answered no, 40% answered yes. Okay, so let's break down the situation. So if we leave things as is, it means we are not backing up. Okay? So if we back up the situation, what are the steps that will we gotta do? So we rewind stuff, right? So we go from 3 to number 2. So the fix for the 3, okay, so is we take a card from active player's hand, place it on top. Okay? And then we go to 2. So it should have been a godless shrine. So I guess we put this back into the library and then get a forest or island card. And then they shuffle their library. Correct? So at this point, the card that we put back on top is now not on top of the library. It's effectively gone. Okay? So, what's the implication of this? So let's say the card that we got at random was the card that we got at random was the card that active player drew for that ability. It's okay. So right, but what if active active player had that card for around 4 turns ago and was just going to play it in the next turn. So now we took that option from him. So at this point, since we change a changing a card that will be drawn is, and in effect, if we go back, if we go through, if they go through the trigger again, AP will draw another card, which may be crap or would be a game-breaking top deck. So we change the set of information that the player had. So for me, I recommend that we leave we leave things as is. We do not back up. So I think that's the most disruptive thing that we do if we choose to back up. So, but Rod, why do we try to leave things as is? Why do we try to what gives if we choose to leave things as is? Okay, so player has that dryad, right? That lets any land tap for any amount of mana. So basically, the end situation is the same. So he can get any card that can tap for any type of mana. Uh, so at this point, it is best that rather than disrupting players' plan or set of cards, we just leave things as is because it's more organic that way. If this is competitive, surely we could penalize that player, and that's our tool for players that err. Thank you, Alex. Okay, so let's go to the next scenario. Okay, so Akali and Ida are playtesting their historic decks on your store. So Akali controls, I'll just go to the, Akali controls Goblin Chieftain, a Goblin Token, Wily Goblin, uh, and a Treasure Token. Uh, so the Incinerate, so Akali uh, cycles Gem Palm Incinerator, targets the wall, and kills it. Okay? And then Akali attacks with the 1/1 Goblin and the Wily one. Okay? So, Gem Palm Incinerator resolved. It killed the wall, it drew a card. Next, after the attack, it goes back to the next player's turn. Uh, they Nida, the next turn, casts Cataclysmic Gearhulk. And then, after seeing that he has, Kali sees that she has a Goblin Chieftain and a Treasure, and she promptly calls a judge. Okay. So, where is the point of error? So, I will go back to the slide. So, this is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay. So, where is the error? So, is it 1? Akali cycle Gem Palm Incinerator? Is it 2? She kills the 0/4 token and draws a card. 3. Akali attacks with a 1 with 2 goblins. And 4. Uh, non-active player attacks and casts Gear Help. Okay, I'll end the poll right now. Most of you answered correctly. The point of error was Akali killing the 0/4 token. So the next one is, can we leave things as is? So So this is a yes or no. Ay, sorry. Okay, so do we back up or not? Can we leave things as is? If yes, you do not back up. If no, you back up. You can't hear me, Joel? Go back to the previous slide. This slide? Okay, thank you. KS. Yes. Uh, do I realize this? So do we leave things as is? 5 more seconds. And after this will end. Okay. So dead even. Okay. So first, I think that we cannot leave things as is. So we back up. We can do a backup in this scenario. So first, why? There is almost no hidden information on this scenario. Similar to our thoughts car scenario. So we when we do the backup, going through the steps. Let's go back. So at this, Gear Hulk goes to hand. Draw step is undone. So okay, so we go to Akali's turn. So we undo the attack, and then the card goes to on top. Gem Pound Incinerator goes to the hand. No, wait. We stop as Gem Pound Incinerator is cycled because it's a legal play. Targeting the wall is a legal one. So we will have it deal 3 damage to that wall, and the wall will live. Okay, and then we let them play as is. Aside from no information, no hidden information, I think what happens after this is that Akali will still attack with her stuff. There will she will still have creatures after her turn, and then when it comes to Nina's turn, she will draw a card, cast the Gear Hulk, and most likely keep the Gear Hulk as a creature and keep Graph Digger as an artifact. And most likely, we will have an identical ending scenario just like this. Okay, so that's my summary for this scenario. Yep. And I will end with that. Questions? We can PM me privately, and I think I can answer you. So thank you all. Oops, sorry. Thank you all for bearing with me, and thank you to Alex for keeping up the time.